to Pyramid Preview. My name is Jan Ten-Satov. I'm an analyst at large with Pyramid Research, and I'll be providing some highlights of recent publication at Mobile Enterprise in Emerging Markets with you in this preview. First of all, slide 2, just to highlight some of the key questions that the report addresses. First of all, to look at what the size of the mobile enterprise market is, both at a global level and at a regional level. Secondly, how does the structure of the opportunity differ between developed and emerging regions? And I'll highlight some aspects of the informal economy which we believe is important to address. Thirdly, what is the size of the different segments of the mobile enterprise market? We highlight 3 different segments, so the handset segment, the mobile broadband or cellular PC access segment, and the machine-to-machine segment. And finally, just to look at the key trends and developments within each of those 3 segments. So slide 3 just provides an overview of the mobile enterprise subscriptions as a percentage of total subscriptions, both at a global level, which is just over 11% of all subscriptions, as well as at a regional level. You can see that in the more developed regions, such as North America, is a much higher portion in the enterprise segment, almost 22% in North America, and down to Africa and Middle East, which is just over 5% of all subscriptions. It's interesting to note that looking at the portion of only postpaid subscriptions, which are enterprise, this is almost inverted. So, for instance, in Latin America and Africa and Middle East, something like 50% of postpaid subscriptions are mobile enterprise subscriptions, whereas that's very much lower in the more developed regions where postpaid is not so predominantly a business product. Slide 4. One of the important elements that we found in the report is the importance of the informal segment in many emerging markets. This slide shows the Kenyan population breakdown at the end of 2009, and we can see that of the 29% of the population, which is the working population, a significant portion, almost 80%, are informal employees. And we believe this is an important segment which is under-addressed in many emerging markets. The informal segment can contribute a significant portion to economies, up to something like 60% in some countries. So it's a very important part of the market to address. And what we see is in many of these emerging markets that the informal segment actually is similar to the SME segment in developed markets, but those employees in emerging markets are not formal employees. But at the same time, we believe that they shouldn't be addressed as a consumer segment. So that's one key element that we found in the report, and there's a detailed case study about the Kenyan market. Slide 5, just breaking down the total market into the different segments. So of the total 483 million mobile enterprise subscriptions globally, we estimate that something like 9%, or 42 million, are in the machine-to-machine segment. About 43 million are mobile broadband, and the remainder are handsets. And we see that the smaller segments are the more dynamic ones, where we see the growth is the strongest. Slide 6. So just highlighting how attractive the enterprise segment is. So this provides this graph shows Belgacom's consumer and enterprise ARPS comparison for the first 9 months of 2009. And first of all, it's very clear that the enterprise ARPS is over 150% higher than the consumer ARPS. So that initially, of course, is very attractive. also it's interesting so that's very much driven by higher MAUs. But it's also interesting to note that the SMS usage is higher in the consumer segment, while the non-SMS data segment is much higher in the enterprise segment, very much driven by applications such as mobile email. It's also interesting to note that we look at the penetration of employees in the different regions to see how many employees actually have a mobile enterprise a handset subscription, and that varies significantly. So in the US, we see that something like 40% of all employees, and whereas in Africa and Middle East, it's more like 5% and about 15% at a global level. So that also demonstrates that there's still opportunity for further growth in all the different regions. In terms of mobile broadband, we've seen that it's offered in a range of different packages and applications in some emerging markets. So here we've just highlighted some of the offerings of Vodafone Romania. So first of all, on the left, we see that it has quite a range of different mobile broadband packages. So different in terms of price and different in terms of the downlink speed, ranging from 3.6 megabits per second up to 21.6 megabits per second, just in the capital in Bucharest, where it's already implemented HSPA plus technology. So looking to address different business segments with mobile broadband. And then on the right, we see its Mobile Connect offering, which actually positions mobile broadband as a complete voice and data package for small offices. So this is where an HSPA plus modem provides high-speed access to a number of different laptops, as well as providing a voice through a DECT base station. So that's an interesting way in which mobile broadband is being used, as a complete small office package. And slide 8, just looking at the machine-to-machine segment, it enjoys much higher adoption in developed markets, particularly in some Western European markets where regulations have been in place for some time, driving the adoption of smart metering, particularly in Northern Europe. We've seen those regulations coming in also into the UK market. So lots of developments in Western Europe. In North America also we see that happening, but also the consumer electronics part becoming an attractive segment for machine to machine. But also in emerging markets we've seen regulations in the automotive side, as well as with some insurance and other kind of government driven policies in order to typically to drive up tax revenues also, but that's an attractive driver for the machine-to-machine segment. So that's just a brief overview of our report. If you're interested in more details, do get in touch. You have the details there. Many thanks for your time. Bye bye.